front, and the purpose of that was to isolate these other two leaders from their teammates, so take their teammates away. And then you make it a one-on-one matchup. But the problem is, on stage 11, this guy right here, he made Pogačar pay for that aggressive tactic. So he has a minute and a half lead, or minute 14 seconds. So what he's going to want to do is keep these guys on the front and keep the race together. They wanted to set just hard enough of a pace to where they can save these guys all the way to the line. And so if Vingegaard tries to attack, he'll still have these guys with him to bring him back.
Yeah, and in a perfect world, you'd have Almeida, Yates, the super domestiques for Tadej Pogačar. You're not seeing them on the front of the peloton now. Now you're seeing Niels Pollitt. It'll likely be after the Tourmalet a little later in the race, but they don't need to explode the race. Pogačar is in yellow. Ideally, they will still ride a hard enough pace that maybe they start to crack Jorgensen, Kelderman just a little bit. Maybe they're lucky enough to get Vingegaard just alone with their leader, Pogačar. If Vingegaard does try to do an aggressive move on Pogačar, the perfect scenario would be at least one of these guys is good enough to also go with him. Pogačar comes, he's very calmly and can just follow, ideally with a teammate. And then that could even provide a chance for him to then do his classic aggressive move a little later in the race. But just like TJ said, it would be very wise if they rode a little more defensive and a little less explosive than we saw him on the earlier mountain stages.
Okay, so that's Tadej. The one right behind him, a minute 14 seconds behind. He's actually two behind him. He's in third place overall. The two-time defending champ, Jonas Vingegaard. We talk about the use of a team. That's a real strength for Tadej Pogačar. Not as much for the defending champ. His team is not as good. One of the reasons American Sepp Kuss right here, home with COVID, he will be sorely missed on a day like today.
Absolutely. These guys are great climbers, Matteo Jorgensen and Wilco Kelderman, but the problem is they're not strong enough to drop guys like Adam Yates, guys like João Almeida. If they tried to do an aggressive tactic like Pogačar did on stage 11, they're not going to be able to get rid of these guys. Now, if you bring in Sepp Kuss, who's at home, sadly, we've seen him before go to the front, whittle down the group, and then you can try to get rid of Yates and Almeida, making it a one-on-one matchup between Vingegaard and Pogačar. A one-on-one matchup between Vingegaard and Pogačar, I'm taking Vingegaard all day with that one.
Yeah, we're lucky that we could bring Sepp Kuss in off the couch at home into the sandbox here to show that. But again, he, in many of the past tours, he is that superstar domestique leader for Jonas Vingegaard. We saw him many times be at the front with just the best other GC riders in the peloton, and having a key domestique, a key lieutenant for Jonas Vingegaard in the past was often the setup where Sepp would make it so hard that even Pogačar was starting to be in difficulty, a guy like Evenepoel would be in difficulty, and then that was the launch pad for Vingegaard. So different scenario today. Sepp here, we love you, man, but you're not here. Hopefully we'll see you at next year's tour. Vingegaard's going to have to do his best with Jorgensen, Kelderman, and ideally he's going to have to hope that UAE and Pogačar with his superstar team of Yates and Almeida, that they do fumble a little bit and open up an opportunity where he can isolate himself with Pogačar and give it a go.
So sad to see Sepp return back here to the bottom of the screen after he made a